Z here, and welcome to my first self-marker review video. Self-review because obviously this video isn't sponsored or anything, but I was able to get my hands on these markers and I absolutely cannot wait to show them to you guys. If you find yourself enjoying this marker review video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so that you get to become a part of the Z Nation family. Okay, enough with the intro. Let's get unboxing! I had ordered these markers around the 17th of September and they arrived on the 22nd. So not only were these markers here on time, but I was also greeted with a surprise which I was not expecting. But you guys will get to see what the surprise is later in the video. So right now you can see me absolutely struggling with opening the package at first, but eventually I got the adrenaline rush and I was able to open up the package with my bare hands, okay? Anyways, so the markers I had ordered were the 24 set of markers, and we can see that these markers were very well secured in bubble wrap and a double coat of plastic. However, one thing I was slightly upset about was that I got no marker bag. I was highly anticipating that there would be a marker bag along the set of markers, but I assumed that there must have been an error or something because there was no marker bag. After getting the markers open, I got to hold them in my hands, and obviously none like other. The markers are dual-sided with both a bullet nib and a chisel nib, and I cannot wait to try them out. Even the markers themselves feel pretty smooth to hold in my hand, so I'm just going to rearrange these markers a little bit, try to test them out and swatch them. So let's get to the swatching footage. Rearranging the markers took me a little bit longer than I had expected because turns out there are actually 30 markers in this set, not 24. 6 markers extra. How cool is that? I suppose that the company knew that there would be no marker bag in my order, so they just gave me 6 extra markers as compensation. Not that I'm complaining. So now that I'm testing out the markers, one thing I noticed is that their pigment was superb. It was so vibrant, and I was really happy to see that because even the kind of paper I was using wasn't really marker paper. So that is definitely a +1. So moving on to the colors in this set, we have quite the long list, so please sit with me. Starting off with pale lilac, pale purple, medium pink, fluorescent coral red, old red, terracotta, vermilion, olive green, yellow green, melon yellow, jade green, fluorescent green, grass green, deep olive green, peacock green, aqua mint, blue gray, royal blue, phthalo blue, cerulean blue, Peruvian blue, purple, pastel peach, brown gray, rose beige, warm gray, and then another warm gray with the tag WG8, cool gray, and black. Wow, that's quite a lot of markers. Anyways, after I was done swatching out the colors, one thing which really surprised me was that the greens and blues were in the most amounts. And my favorite shade out of all of them is definitely the phthalo blue. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, so please do excuse me if it sounds a little bit off. Even though purple is like my favorite color, that shade of blue is gonna win this round. It was a lot of fun swatching out the colors and getting to test out the chisel side, and I cannot wait to use these markers in an illustration. And can we also appreciate pastel peach? You can barely see it, but I really like how the color goes really well with the neutral side. And yeah, that's about it for the swatching session. Now, for those of you who don't know, this sketchbook of mine is actually a new one because last Thursday, I had uploaded a short in which I was actually unboxing the sketchbook and somewhat testing it out with a bunch of pencil doodles and all. One amazing thing about this sketchbook is that it is used for just about every medium. even though I haven't exactly tried it for myself. In the description, it said that it's best for markers, calligraphy, sketching, doodling, and whatever. The paper itself is very durable, it's thick, and you will see later on in the video that as I'm using the marker does not bleed to the next page. I was so happy when I first saw this because I had been yearning for a sketchbook like this for a very long time. Alright, before we go off track, for my first page, I did not have a concrete idea in mind and I was so confused as to what I should do. So I went for the classic welcome page with a bunch of doodles of random characters, random objects, just like this pickaxe over here to represent my love for Minecraft. I added in a cutesy little Kirby in the left hand corner, and the pencil I'm using is just a normal HP pencil that I found lying in the furthest corner of my house. I went for a more RPG style with the start, setting, and exit kind of thing, but the writing, I somewhat messed it up, but hey, it's alright. This page of mine is more of an experiment as to how I'm going to go about creating more art in this sketchbook. It is now time for the line art, and for the line art, I'm not using any special pen whatsoever. It's a random piano fine liner I found in the furthest corner of my house and decided to whip it up for the line art itself. I did not have much in mind as to how I wanted to go about the line weight for each of the subject in my drawings, but what I did do is I tried to make the lines look as neat and clean as possible, given that it had been a really long time since I had last drawn traditional art. Even though my last two previous videos were based around traditional art, and it obviously involved my sketchbook, and again, I had this perfectionist mindset, so you will be seeing me go back and forth constantly, trying to figure out if things look alright or not, so please don't mind that. Oh, also, I went in with a bubble style for the welcome sign because I remember as a much younger artist, I was obsessed with making my letters look like bubbles for some reason. I don't know why, but I remember that halfway through the line art and I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's just do it. And underneath the welcome sign, I went in with a squiggle, and right at the end of the squiggle, I added in a paintbrush because that was my huge big brain moment. For the little characters I added, nobody special. I added in Kirby around a mushroom, and then I added in a diamond pickaxe with a grass block to indicate my love for Minecraft because hey, why not? I added in these labels to sort of replicate what you would see in an RPG game, if that makes sense. The handwriting didn't really turn out as I wanted to be. I had a completely different image in my head, but I suppose I tried my best for that one. Oh, I added in this random flower, a watermelon slice with a bunch of stars as well. The moment we all have been waiting for, trying out the markers! First and foremost, I picked out this pale lilac color to get started with the welcome board. Oh my gosh. So, what are my first thoughts on actually using these markers? Well, first of all, I was so surprised to see that the marker pigment did not bleed through the page, nor did it leave behind a stain on the opposite side. I was astounded to see that the marker actually seeped into the paper, if that makes sense, without having this muddy, rusty look to it. And most of all, the pigment. The pigment of these markers is amazing. Given that these touch markers, they aren't from the official touch marker brand. Wait, that's not what I mean. They aren't from the official store, but a dupe. And given that these markers are a dupe is really impressive because these markers also allowed me to add in another layer of color immediately after when they dried up. I mean, obviously that would happen because these are alcohol markers. But again, These markers are my first proper set of markers, and when I had ordered these, I was over the moon at the fact that, oh my gosh, these are going to be my first proper set of markers. I can't wait to try them out. There's a really good variety of greens and blues in this set, and in addition, there were also a couple of reds and pinks, but the least amount was, I believe, orange. There was only one orange in this set, poor vermilion, all by itself alone. I colored in the bristles of the brush with warm gray and eventually moved on to the clouds. The clouds thankfully were looking less empty, and I went in with the little creature I drew in as well. Moving on to Kirby, I used a pale pink color and went in with a fluorescent red for the shoes, and I remembered to fill in his cheeks because I forgot to draw them on. And for the flower, I went in with a pale purple, I believe it was, and the satisfaction I felt while coloring the petals, oh my gosh. I filled in the little squiggle because I really wanted to test out if I could blend the colors in a way. I think I was successful, somewhat. I mean, it does look kind of pleasing to look at. I went in with the sky using phthalo blue, and oh my goodness, phthalo blue is such a beautiful color. Oh my gosh. I used the broad tip at first because I realized throughout the video I never used it because of how scared I was. But I eventually did and filled in the sky, if that even does look like a sky at this point. It was right towards the end I realized that I wanted to add in this random patch of grass blocks at the bottom of the page. Well, this is because I've been playing a lot of Minecraft recently and I got myself a happy gas. Oh my gosh, I love those little creatures. I added in these random blocks, and because it was looking a little bit empty, I decided to add in a bunch of flowers using pale lilac once again. And you guys can probably tell by now that purple is like my favorite color. Here we have our welcome page, and here are the markers I tried out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!